Well, hello. Happy Monday night, Royal We family and YouTubers who are joining for the first time. Welcome to the Royal We Live. Now, I'm starting live tonight. There is no music starting off on this live stream right now because I'm getting used to having things in a new set. I hope you all are okay with the new set behind me. Let me know right now if you all can hear me. I think you can. But welcome to the Royal We Live Monday night. We are here. What's going on? Hey, Fifi, beautiful hummingbird. You are the first in the house. You beat Tanya and you beat Dee. And I am thoroughly impressed and surprised that you beat the moderators. Audrey, how are you? We're just going to give a couple of minutes here for people to sign on, and then we'll get started with the show. I have a lot of just announcements just to make and share with you all. Audrey, I'm glad you like the new background, my new set design. Worked hard putting together the set for you all so I can have something different to look at. Hi, Donovan. And all right. Well, it's good to see you all here. For those of you who don't know, we had the very first Saturday Royal We Fellowship, which was pretty good. The message, I believe, was strong. I ran into some technical issues as I watched the playback because I did not have the computer hardwired into the internet. I was using Wi-Fi, and it kept cutting out because of the distance. So I solved that issue. So hopefully right now you should be seeing a seamless stream of video and audio. There should be no hiccups whatsoever, and that is something that I'm very proud of. Very proud of that. Hi, Kristen. How are you? It's good to see you. Brian, what's going on? Diane, how are you? It's good to see everybody. I'm so happy. And so I hope this is going to be a great, smooth. Now, I did have some issues with phone. I'm on T-Mobile, and for whatever reason, it seems like T-Mobile tonight, you could look it up on Google. No joke here. T-Mobile is having outages, whatever this means. How does a phone carrier have outages? I don't know, but I can't make phone calls. That's pretty scary, and people can't call me. At least that's what it was about an hour ago. So I have my phone on, and you're welcome to call in if you would like to call in. Hi, Tanya. How you doing? Hi, Susan. But if it doesn't go through, if your phone call doesn't go through, just know that it's because of outages. So hopefully they'll fix that. Hey, anybody's welcome to call. This night is a night of answering your questions. The phone line is open, and I don't have the phone line up. I should probably get that up and type it on there for you. I'm going to go ahead and put it up right now for you all. It is area code 951. This is the telephone number to call in for free and talk with me on the Royal We Live. Telephone number 951-394-3496. Again, the telephone number is, I'm typing it, 951 394 3496. I gotta use, I'm like, I type like with one finger at a time. All right. And I'm just gonna put a little crown next to that so you know that's what it is. So feel free to call in that number. If you get through, awesome. If you don't, I apologize. Like I said, our phone carrier has been having outages, and that's weird, but that's what's been happening. Let's go ahead and get in some of the questions that I received and get this show on the road. And then, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock a.m. is Royal We Fellowship. And we're looking at the Bible, and we're taking what the Bible has to say. And I guess I teach in kind of a expository way. I just go kind of point by point in the Bible. But I make sure that it, in a way, affects our understanding of the world coming out of narcissistic abuse and how to live our lives. And I believe that this is the direction that I feel led to teach from the Bible okay? And so Saturday morning, it was a great message on being divided and how we're divided. Those of you who are there, I hope you appreciated the message. This week, we're going to pick up right after the divide, and we're going to talk about relationships, all right? And we're going to be looking at that in Genesis once again, okay? We're going to go through this, and we're going to get a different understanding of how to navigate this world of narcissism and of whatever's going on, right? Lots of crazy stuff going on out there. So make sure you're signed up if you want to be a part of that. Royal We Fellowship is the name of the channel. You can find links to that in the description box down below. I'm going to keep an eye here on the message board. If you all have any questions, what's going on, Tanya? How are you? Tanya, thank you so much for liking the background. I enjoyed putting this together. It feels fresh. It feels new. Thank you so much. I got some lighting going on. You're going to see a lot of videos coming from this background in the future. Here's basically another reason why I did this. Right, with the whole issue with being outside and the climate and the illness and the sickness and all the weird stuff. It's different. It feels different going outside and shooting now with my camera. I feel kind of like I'm just an oddball out there walking around the camera. And I was already uncomfortable anyways, kind of doing that. When you walk around the camera doing any kind of videos, people kind of look at you kind of funny, make weird comments. I've had to stop and cut and do retakes because people say stuff and yell stuff and, not out of being mean, just being jokesters. There's a guy with the camera with a big microphone, so they want to say something, right? That happens in busy cities. In addition to that, I don't really have good control of lighting and stuff like that. So I solved my problem, Royal We family. I created my own environment and created the lighting for it, and I'm able to play and manipulate it. So you're going to see most of the videos on the organic channel, the Royal We Fellowship, and the Royal We Live is going to be here. I will probably bring in the green screen and do some of the images and phone numbers and stuff up there for the live, because I would like to have some kind of difference between the channels. But right now, everybody's seeing this. So happy you are all here. Oh, Wet Wings. You talk about narc rage, but mine never raged. Very quiet and subtle abuse from my Christian fake narc. Yeah, Wet Wings, it doesn't always have to be raging, right? They can be very slanderous. They could be very demeaning and devaluing. When we talk about put downs, right? That's what we're talking about from narcissistically abusive people. Put downs could actually seem said in a way that it's mean. It's definitely a put down. It is, but it's not raging. So, for example, let's say you're having a great time and you're singing a song that's on the radio that you really like. Right? You're enjoying the moment and you're singing the song. And the person you're with, this is a narcissistically abusive person, instead of just enjoying that moment and seeing that you're having a good time, they have to say something just crummy. Like, they'll say something to the extent of, it's no wonder you work in retail. Don't quit your day job. Right? And you're thinking in your mind, listen, dude or dudette, I'm just having a good time. Right? And you are just squashing that good time. Right? And this is what we deal with narcissists as well. Right? So it's not just and they don't do it necessarily joking. You can tell when someone's joking with you and they're elbowing you and saying, "I'm just kidding, man. This is awesome." But you can also tell when they're just acting annoyed at the fact that you're having a good time. This is an indicator of narcissism. You're enjoying yourself. They're annoyed by it, right? They don't like that you're happier than them. So this stuff can be demeaning and devaluing over time. It's like a constant drip on your head. And it hurts. It's like water torture. I did a video about water torture. It's the constant drip that drives you crazy. That is narcissistic abuse as well. All right. And let's see, silent treatment can be abusive. Yeah. So it's not all raging. Overt narcissist. And if you push the right buttons with a narcissist, trying to let them know that they're hurting you and they're not you'll see the rage, right? You'll see them fighting. And they might not yell and scream, punch holes and stuff like that, but they will come at you and say, you're selfish and you're toxic and how dare you, and you're a troublemaker and you're drama and this and that, right? Because it's easier for them, narcissists, to put you down and throw it all on you than it is for them to say, you're right, I'm not a very happy person right now. Which, in all honesty, doesn't sound like it's hard to do, right? You and me, If someone called us out and we were having a bad day, we could say, listen, it's not your fault. I'm having a bad day. Okay. This is the ability to be conscious and aware of how you sound and of how you're coming across. Narcissists do not think like that, right? They're just doing it and they're in a bad mood. And whoever's around gets the wrath of that bad mood. Even if it's not raging, it's still just put downs and whatever else. And if you say something, instead of them being able to consciously say, listen, I'm upset, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to come off bad, I'm just having a bad day, they'll say, how dare you? You're selfish. There's nothing wrong with me venting. There's nothing wrong with me calling you names. There's nothing wrong with me cussing. You're so judgmental. You're toxic. You're a right? Now you've justified their anger. This is narcissistic abuse, right? Perfect example, Wet Wings. I would sing and he would say he could teach me how to sing. Yeah, there you go. I had a feeling, Wet Wings. I had a feeling I knew where you were going because I've experienced that. We've experienced that. That is a form of narcissism. And it's simply nothing more. It has nothing to do with your singing. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's the simple fact that in the moment, you are happy. You are genuine. And nothing bothers narcissists more than knowing that somebody is genuinely happy around them because they're filled with this anger and hurt, and they need to pull you down. Like they're basically, a narcissist is saying, "Whoa, there's shooting star, get back over here." You know, you need to be in the the shit swamp with me because that's where I'm at right now. Whoa, shooting star, come on, grab you by your tail, pull you back down. Right? Even if they're Christian, by the way, even if they're Christian. All right. Let's see. Mine never raged. Extremely passive aggressive. Negative most of the time. That's just as bad. Being negative, it's just down. You want so badly just to have a good time, but there was a meme I saw, and it said it was the guy from The Office, that comedian guy, and it said something like, me trying to explain to the narcissist why we can't be together, and it shows the guy from The Office, and it says, how do I say this? You're just a thief of joy. That's it. It's like a lot of times narcissistically abusive people just are thieves of your joy. It's a good indication. All right. Let's go to one text message question that I got here. Hi, my name is beep. I'm going to blank that out for y'all. I'm messaging you after watching The Narcissist Who Refuses to Let Go. All right. I produced that video about a year ago. And this video, it was a good video. It was something near and dear to me because I felt like the narcissist refused to let go and let me just be me and leave me alone. I was experiencing all kinds of hoovering. But here's the question. I plan to follow your steps, but I was wondering how long of a period of time to go no contact. I'm guessing the question says, wondering how long of a period of time I need to go no contact. All right. So what I gather, and I don't know the situation the person's in, but what I gather is the person wants to know, this text message question, is if you're going to go no contact with people because they won't leave you alone, how long do you go no contact for? All right. This is where we get into understanding no contact. No contact is not a game. And we've talked about this. It's not don't confuse no contact with the silent treatment. If you're planning on just staying away for a short while, then you're playing a game and you're doing this silent treatment, okay, as a form of punishment, saying, I'm going to be quiet. And that's what this question wants. This person wants to know, how long do you go quiet for? And I'm under the assumption that they want to, do it long enough to punish them and then go back to normal. Listen, there is no normal. The reason you're wanting to leave the situation is because they're living in their normal and you don't like it, right? And so it's not a question of how long do you need to go no contact for. The real question is, do you feel like this is not something you want in your life anymore. And then no contact becomes a life choice that you dedicate yourself to. And what you're dedicating yourself to is ridding your life of the toxicity of outside people and of outside things and of outside influences that pressure you and burden you into being with people you have no business being with, doing things you have no business doing, and going places you have no business going, right? So no contact is setting boundaries around yourself. You telling yourself, I'm better than that. And I know narcissists will say, oh, you think you're better than everybody else. You think you're better than everybody else. You're judgmental. And this is, and eventually you're going to grow into this place where you're like, you know what? You're right. I am. I am judgmental. And I do think, I don't think I'm better than everybody else, but I think I'm better than this nonsense. I'm not going to sit and be dragged into your fighting and your quarrels and your arguments. I'm done. I'm out. And so no contact becomes boundaries and a rule that you live by, right? That protects you from having to get in these petty arguments. That's what no contact is, right? It's not a question of how long do you stay no contact. It's are you ready to make that life choice where you are done being emotionally, physically, spiritually attached to these people who hurt you, who don't care for you in the way in which you care for them. It's not a mutual relationship. There's no respect. There's no common courtesy. Can you live being emotionally attached to that, right? That's the question. That's the question. Forever, Brian says. Absolutely. Hope that makes sense to you. Donovan asks here, hi, Kevin. Do you believe that narcissists can be delivered from that narc spirit through prayer if they also agree it's an evil spirit and want to be delivered? Yes, absolutely. 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 But the key in your question slash statement, because you're making a statement here, right? The statement is if they agree it's an evil spirit and want to be delivered. Okay, that's the key. That's the key. Narcissists, anybody for that matter, will not change unless they themselves realize they are under the influence, the attack. They have an issue in their life that they need to deal with. All right. And with their desire to change this, can change happen? I believe so. But I want to take it a step further with you, Donovan, because I think there's another part of this question that you're not asking. And the other part of the question is, can you be a part of that? Can you be a part of that change? My answer to that is no. You cannot. You cannot. And I will tell you some of my understandings as to why. Okay. The dynamic of the relationship that you have has already been set into motion. Narcissists, in order for them to have any change, they need to experience that they can be absolutely wrong, but feel somehow the forgiveness, the grace, and the love that they never received as children or whatever growing up. So what am I trying to tell you? It's better that comes from a complete stranger who doesn't know everything that they've done. All right? It would be impossible for you or for me to go to the narcissists who have hurt us physically, beat us, assaulted us, threw stuff out. So I'm not saying it's impossible, but it'd be very difficult for us to be that one, right? Because there's two things battling. We're battling, man, this hurts so bad, the sacrifice that, but they're also battling, I know I wronged this person. How can this person be here for me? How stupid of them, because that's the part of them that they're fighting. Listen, one of the things that narcissists hate about you is that you're nice and caring and loving. They look at that. A lot of people say they look at it as weakness. No, they look at it as stupidity. They're going to look at you and say, Why do you put up with so much? Some narcissists will go so far as to believe that you deserve to just be beat up and whatever happens to you because you refuse to do, to stand up for yourself in a way, right? Narcissists hate that. At some point in relationships with narcissistically abusive people, they truly do start to hate you because you're there for them, because they don't understand. They think there must be something wrong with you. There must be something wrong with you, right? And so this is why it's not going to work out as far as you being involved in that change. But from a distance, through no contact, can you pray for them? If you like, absolutely. Will you know if they're in agreement with it? Probably not. How can you if you're at that kind of a distance? But is it possible for them to change if they're on the right course and the right people come into their life and it's brand new people and those people who come into their life do not put up with their nonsense but are there for them and guiding them and lead them? Can they start to show signs of changing? Absolutely. Will they still be narcissistic? Absolutely. Okay. Can they change some of the ways in which they go about the activity outside? Yes. Right. You could take it's behavioral modification at that point. But the deep inner hurtings and what causes narcissism to be narcissism, there's bits and pieces of that are always going to be there inside of them. Okay. Those bits and pieces will always come out around you. All right. And it's going to be difficult. Hope that makes sense to you. I hope I answered that and didn't confuse anybody even further, because I think I almost confused myself with that one. Mike says, I can't stop thinking about my older brother. When I was abused by my alcoholic dad, he felt sorry for my dad to gain something. I felt betrayed. How do I stop thinking about my older brother? He felt sorry for my dad to gain something. I feel betrayed. How do I stop thinking about my older brother? That is a difficult one, Mike, because you were betrayed. You were betrayed, right? If you were being abused and your brother was not there for you to validate the fact that you were abused and instead was trying to gain sympathy for the abusive person, this is what classic enabling looks like. It sounds to me like your brother is an enabler. And enabling could be just as dangerous and just as hurtful, right? Enablers stand back and they watch what happens. But for some reason, enablers feel more sorry and they feel more pity for the abusive one. Why is this? Well, it could be for a number of reasons, right? The idea and the thought that, well, they're already an alcoholic. If we go against them and fight it, it's just going to make that worse. And God knows what they're going to do in their alcoholism. And I've had this conversation with my wife, for example, because some of her siblings would verbally attack me openly in front of the other siblings, in front of the grandparents. And I always wondered, why don't they stand up for me? Why don't they say something? They see this stuff. Why are they ignoring it? Why do they pretend like it's not happening? And my wife's response to me, she helped me understand this. And she said, Kevin, why would they do that? And I said, why? Because it's unjust. I'm a guest in their home and they're letting them verbally berate me. I'm your husband. They don't care about, and my wife, she did her best to help me to understand, listen, if they do that, they know what's going to happen. It's just going to create drama and tension there in amongst them. And they don't want that. And of course, me and my ego, I'm like, so they want the drama and tension with me? Blah, blah, blah. But I get it. I get it. When we're talking about troubled people, they're very troubled. So if you start to, they're troubled because they've lived their lives berated already. I think one of the things that we forget is what you and I go through with narcissists is what they've already gone through, right? They've been through that. And they've already been, most narcissists have been down that road. They've been berated, they've been neglected, they have been suicidal, they've been all these things, and they don't even know they're a shell of a person with no self-identity, which is why they go from relationship to relationship, jumping into a new identity because they don't even know themselves, right? And I think at some level, enablers, they know this. They know how they treat people is wrong, but they also know that they've seen narcissists at their worst, and they don't want to see that anymore. So it's easier just to be quiet. Okay. Not that this helps you, Mike. I know it doesn't help you in your situation because you still want to know why. I feel betrayed by my brother, right? I would say that, it's okay to feel betrayed, first of all, because you were. And it's okay to just know and understand that that was in the past. Now you're a new man. And now any abuse that happens to you directly, you stand up right then and there and you handle it, right? Doesn't matter if it's from your dad or your brother, okay? And I've had to do this recently. I have a brother who, coronavirus and whatever else going on out there has caused a certain level of stress and anxiety. And there was a reaction to something I said that was, kind of blew up. And I said, I'm out. We're not putting up with that. We're not doing that. You need to find healthier ways to deal with your anger. And so do I. Right. And it ended it. It felt great. Right. And so to be able to do that's called boundaries. That's called boundaries. All right. Mike, I hope that helps. I know it's difficult when it comes to family. Another thing to understand about family is we do not need to put so much emphasis on blood is family, okay? We feel, Mike, don't feel like you have to get along with your dad and your brother and your mother and your sister because they're family, right? We've gone over this, and I've gone over it in other videos, and there's cultural pressure, but families are not unified. There's no unification. I typically go with a biblical perspective on this. The biblical perspective is this, that family is a relationship of responsibility, and that's it. Your parents are responsible to raise you and guide you, and hopefully they do a good job. If they don't, they failed, and you have to pick up the broken pieces and live your life, right? Brothers and sisters, you're not meant to be unified with them for life, okay? These are people that you grow up with. There's responsibility to one another, and you can always be kind to one another. But the only unification that's ever mentioned in the ancient literature of the Bible is the unification of a man and a woman through marriage, where there's a promise and a covenant that's made. That's a unification through sickness and in health, right? And you make that covenant. That doesn't exist with family. It's not the same thing. So at some point, the responsibility to one another ends, right? Your brother becomes responsible for him and his life. You become responsible for you and your life. All right. And at this point, you stop worrying about what they're doing. Now, if you're ever really needed, you could be a good person and help, but don't feel obligated to be a part and hang out with people who you would rather not hang out with. I mean, if your brother and your dad, if they were not your blood relatives, would you hang out and associate with them? Are they that kind of people? Are they your people? If the answer is no, well, then you got to look at that seriously. Well, why the heck do I hang out with them? We don't like each other. We don't get along, right? I've had to ask myself this question too. Many Christmases. Listen, freedom came when I stopped pretending and going along with what cultural pressures are. Christmas Eve. I grew up always being around family, and I enjoyed it when I was younger. But as I've grown up now, I see that for the most part, people, they don't really like each other, don't want to be around each other. And I'm not trying to be negative. It's just the truth. But we have to get together. Why? Because the culture says to do that, right? So we get some pictures around the Christmas tree, cutting a turkey, and this is what we have to do, and then go another year without talking to anybody again? No, when you start being honest, and I don't want to go. To me, Christmas Eve, I'm happy just being by myself, my kids, my wife. I don't need anybody else around, right? And it's better than to put on that, plaster on that fake smile and be around people you don't get along with, right? And this goes into, Mike, that question that I brought you. Are these people you would love to be around if they didn't have that title of blood? That should determine the nature and the extent and the closeness of your interaction with them, right? Some brothers and sisters and families are real tight-knit, real close. Good for them. Many are not. Good for them, okay? It's not unusual. It's not abnormal. And again, it's just a cultural pressure, right? Back in the ancient days, Abraham, he got up, left his whole entire family, and went wherever God told him, right? Same thing with Jacob, and some people are separated from their families, and they had nothing to do with it, right? Joseph, So again, the point is that it's just, don't put the pressure on yourself to stay connected with your brother, knowing that in that way where you're attached mentally and emotionally over. And if you're thinking about, you can't stop thinking about him, you can't stop thinking about that betrayal, what it's really saying is you are struggling because you feel like you should have this attachment that's not there, and it's killing you that it's not there, and you, doggone it, you're going to make sure it happens. Don't. Let it go. Not your people. Not your people. I hope this makes sense to you. Let's see. Armin has a statement here. You were saying, sir, is that you seek out religion for a need for justification for the events that may transpire as a guide for life, but you can't allow the dead to govern the living. Be compassionate. I'm not understanding that. I'm going to read it one more time just to make sure I'm not missing anything. You were saying, sir, is that you seek out religion for a need for justification for the events that may transpire as a guide for life, but you can't allow the dead to govern the living. No. Oh, can't allow the dead to govern the living. I'm not sure I understand that. I don't know what that means. Armin, can you clarify that a little bit better? I have no problem talking with you about that. If you can clarify that a little bit better. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Melissa, what tool can I use when I feel guilt for leaving my 3-4 year situationship with a drug-addicted, suicidal, bipolar? Melissa, understand that you are not the reason or the cause for their drug addiction, suicidal thoughts, anger, frustration, world hate, woman hate, whatever they're going through. You're not the cause of it, right? At some point, you became the caretaker in the relationship, and you felt like, and then that became dependent, right? Narcissists, they work that over time, right? I'm angry because of you. You're the one that makes me angry. No, Melissa, understand that you met a person who was so filled with anger on the inside the moment you met them. Has nothing to do with you. It's their life. Their life. And it was hidden from you because of the excitement of you. Narcissistic person wanted to get to know you because you were that glimmer of hope. You were that savior that's going to save them from themselves, but you can't do that. When they realize that you cannot save them, that even after all this great times that you had together, they still have the same hurt and pain because of their life of hate, that they take it out on you because you're not able to save them. Now, that leaves you broken, thinking that you did something wrong and you're guilty and you feel guilty. It's not your fault. You had nothing to do with the pain that they brought into the relationship. So you have to be able to understand that and tell yourself that it's not me. It's not me. It's nothing I did. I did nothing. I was not there when they were raised. I was not there to fill them with anger. I was not there to help them form their view of the world. I came across them at a point in their time in their life. They were attracted to me. They thought that I would change their life, and I cannot do it. Relieve yourself of that. And know going forward, you want no part of a relationship where you're expected to fix them or heal them or no. No. None of that stuff. I hope that helps. Not really a tool. It's more of more of an idea there for you, Melissa. More of an idea. Shine Bright says sometimes total strangers treat you better than relatives. Absolutely. Absolutely. Some of the best conversations you will have ever is with a stranger you meet on an airplane or a bus, right? Where you just connect. And that's okay. Could be entertaining an angel. You never know. But, yeah. Let's see. Armin says, naturally, humans must evolve. Speaking from perspectives isn't crucial to your growth. You must evolve to be retrospectively aware. Man, I am not smart enough to understand questions or statements are boggling my mind. Okay, naturally, humans must evolve. Speaking from perspectives isn't crucial to your growth. That's true. It's not. You must evolve to be retrospectively aware. I got to look up retrospectively. I got to see what this means. Forgive me, y'all. Forgive me. I can look it up right here. Retrospective. Somebody probably knows the definition already, but I haven't seen this one. Here we go. Retrospective means looking back on or dealing with past events or situations. Yeah, you do have to be retrospectively aware. You have to be able to look back on past situations, and that is, in a lot of ways, how you go forward. Absolutely. Absolutely. Monique says, why mirror another? Why can't you just be your unique self? You should. You should be your unique self. Absolutely. There is no reason to mirror another. When we talk about narcissists, they don't have a unique self, right? They don't. One of the things that, and I've come to understand that narcissism hates is independence. Okay. They look at independence as being so flighty, right? They accuse people in their independence of being, you just do your own thing, right? And because narcissists were never encouraged or they were never guided into developing their own self, their own identity. They developed early on some form of a group identity where lies are mixed up with truth and where, you know what I mean? And so this becomes out. Yes and no. Yes and no. You should always strive to somewhat fit in because otherwise you're going to be, you know what I mean? You'll be alone forever. But at the same time, you want to be unique. And narcissists tend to all or nothing. So if they're trying to fit in, they're all in. They will transform and morph into their new group. So if they meet a group of gothic people, they're suddenly gothic and they dress all in black and do their makeup and right. If they run into then a group of country dancing, they will start wearing the cowboy hats and the wife beaters and the boots and the jeans, and they will just morph into that role, right? But the whole time, just going from role to role, never really having their own identity because they were not nurtured is in being unique is a good thing. I believe that from what I've seen, most narcissists grow up and they're punished for stepping outside for finding their own uniqueness, or they're shamed for it. And so in return, as a result, narcissists shame other people for their independence. They don't like it. And their attitude is, I can't be independent and be appreciated, so you can't be independent. You're not like one of us. So there. Right? And that's their attitude. And so that's why they have a hard time. That's why they mirror people. I was so confused for so long about so many things, Mystique says, that I didn't want to live anymore. 2 months, narcissist free, and finding myself again. Congratulations, you're on a healing journey. It's long, it's hard, it's painful. It's not easy. It's not an easy road, right? A lot of transformation. A lot of things are changing. You're going to discover that it's not just the relationship, but your whole worldview is transforming. Your view of family, friends, your upbringing, the world around you, everything. It's different. After narcissistic abuse is an awakening moment, existential crisis. It's what separates you from at one point being okay and just going with whatever in your youth to now in your adult life being like, whoa, crazy. It's a crazy world. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's see. Yeah, Chris says the Western dance. That is a good explanation. I knew a narc that did this. So have I. I have. I've seen him. I have seen him. It's pretty wild to watch him jump from one group or identity to another, you know. And I imagine in a way we all do. We all follow our favorite styles and this and that. But I think for most of us, you know, we still tend to we try to make it our own, right? I mean, I'm going for kind of a rustic theme here because the theme appeals to me, right? But I'm not diving into a whole new persona. You're not going to catch me wearing a cowboy hat or anything like that and, getting any more grungier than I already am, right? I'm holding on to my identity, but I just like the aesthetic look, of the set, if that makes sense. So the goal is there's nothing wrong with trying new things and joining new groups, but you don't want to lose yourself in it and have no more identity outside of that. Narcissists tend to jump into these groups and they're so into it that they lose any identity out of that. So when they're gothic, man, they're all gothic. And if anybody's against gothic people, then screw the listen, we see this now. Listen, I'm going to say something that some of you might not agree with, and that's okay. But if you want to know what most narcissistically abusive people are up to right now, they're out in the streets rioting, right? They're out in the aggressive part of the marching and stuff. And I'm not talking about just the protesting. There's nothing wrong with protesting and stuff. But the ones that throw themselves in so deeply into it, where they start to become that group. I'm so angry, right? Anybody who disagrees with us, then they can excuse themselves from life, right? How many of you have seen these people, social media? Okay, these to me are come across as individuals who cannot distinguish their own identity and their own personal experiences in life from the new group that they're attaching to. So the group's issues they're attaching to become the most important thing because they don't have the inner character, the solid foundation to be able to say, no, I'm going to be myself. You know what I mean? And I don't have a problem with this. I never have. So I'm not going to join you on that. Okay. I'm detached from that. You can be mad if you personally have been affected, but I haven't, right? So this is the thing. And we see narcissism in that. Okay. We see narcissistic families, right? We talk about the black sheep. Who's the black sheep in a family, a narcissistic family? Can I get a raise of hands? How many of you know? The black sheep of any narcissistic hierarchy family, the black sheep is the independent one. The black sheep is the one who wants to develop their own character, who wants to succeed, who wants to do things and go places and be a part of something and wants to find themselves, wants to seek self-help, wants to find success. That ends up being the black sheep. Why? Because they're not so into the group, right? Mindset, the tribal mindset, and that angers the tribe. I've heard the great one of the guys I like teaching, or I've liked listening to is Richard Grannon. How many of you know Richard Grannon, Spartan Life coach? He does great work, and he actually helped me when I was really going through pain. Yeah, years ago. One of his statements in one of his videos, Spartan Life coach, was that your family, talking about narcissistically abusive families, says your family hates you. They love you, but they hate you, especially if you are out trying to succeed and trying to make something of yourself that rest of the family members aren't doing, right? And he painted the image. He says it's kind of like people in a psycho ward or whatever, hospital, mental hospital. What they do in mental hospitals is they sedate the mental patients, and they sedate them because they say, listen, you're absolutely horrible to deal with when you're bouncing up and down and you're drooling all over yourself. And so we're going to sedate you so that you're easier to deal with. Okay. Narcissistic hierarchy structure families are the same way. And this is why they abuse the black sheep. This is why they put the black sheep of the family down, because they're trying to sedate you as the black sheep. They're trying to crush your spirit, because they're basically saying, listen, you're too much to handle when you're bouncing off the walls, talking about your great ideas and all this and that. You're much easier to deal with, and you're much easier on us, and you don't make us feel bad when you're just sitting in the corner, bumbling around, drooling like an idiot. We like you when you're that, because then we, the family structure, look good. Okay? Very difficult to understand that, but it's true. And it's terrible, right? So the black sheep of the family are the independent ones. Independent. You think for yourself. You use your critical thinking skills. I discovered recently that I'm gonna hurt some people right now. Lord, forgive me. Hey, I found out right now, there's one of the things that I've discovered is when I talk with people who are well-educated college graduates, right? And one thing I've noticed is that when I approach the conversation from critical thinking about anything, riots, protests, illnesses, whatever, I'm critically thinking, what if? What if? What if it's something different? What if they can't stand it? It drives them nuts. And I've actually heard one say, you're being lazy. Asking questions is lazy. And I was blown back, and I said, is it really? Is it? And I fired back. I had to. I said, wait, who's the lazy one? Me for critically thinking and asking questions, or someone who just goes by what they're told by somebody over them? Somebody who goes by what they read in a book but never experienced for themselves. You tell me, who's lazier? Ooh, right? Got hot, right? Anyways, I'm not trying to talk about this to get into a debate over anything. I'm just trying to get you to understand two different personality types. And the black sheep will always be the independent one, the one asking questions, the one that wants to find answers, the one who wants to succeed. They're going to be the black sheep because they're going against the hierarchy. Just do what you're told. Don't ask questions. It's in the book. We put it in the book. You read it. You believe it. Asking questions is lazy. No, it's not. No, it's not. Asking questions just makes them afraid, because it's a lot easier just to believe what they told you. Armin, sorry if my wisdom is ahead of the westernized world. You know what? Listen, Armin, with the way the westernized world looks right now, I wouldn't be surprised by that statement. I think that probably most any third world country's wisdom is probably above the westernized world. Well, at least what the news is showing right now. But anyways, is clever it a real thing? Cleverbot. Man, I went on quite the vocal rant there, but I hope that it makes sense to you, right? So independence is something that narcissists love to go into tribal mindsets, tribal mentalities. Um, that tends to be more of the path of narcissism. And it's hierarchy structures, and there are hierarchies and everything, and hierarchies in and of themselves are necessary. They're not necessarily bad, not all of them. But when it gets to the point where they outcast and where they cannot even deal with or grow a hatred towards independence, now you have a problem, because independent people bring something to the table. If you're an independent person, you are a creative person, you're a critical thinker, you're an idea maker, you go against the grain, you go against the powers that be in a healthy way. Be proud of yourself for that. And it's too bad, and it's a shame that most of you creative thinkers, critical thinkers, have had to put up with abuse from parents and family members and societies and cultures that tell you, no, you can't be a critical thinker, right? I one time and it's sad. It's sad. So I encourage you, be a critical thinker, be critical, have ideas, run with them, run with your ideas, man, and get away from the tribes. Those tribes. There's other tribes. There's tribes of critical thinkers, right? That's where we are right now. We're a tribe of critical thinkers right here, the Royal We. That's what we're doing. Questioning things, questioning abuse from people that we see, verbal abuse, mental, emotional abuse, questioning it, building our strength up against it, right? D had to bring up Yoda. All right. Wow. Well, I hope everybody got something good from tonight's live Royal We. I've been ranting and raving here for an hour. And some of y'all are still with me. That right there is amazing. And to that I say, I'm very grateful that you are here joining me on the Royal We Live. And I'm going to wrap it up right now. And I'll be back here next Monday night, 9 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Royal We Live Chat. Also Saturday, join on Royal We Fellowship. And you can find the information and the links for that down below. And be on the lookout for more videos on the organic Royal We channel as well. And you'll be seeing a lot more of this set behind me. But we've got some great videos coming down the road for you. And I'm super excited for all of that. And with that, blessings to you all. Have a great night. Have a great rest of the week. And if you would like more information or some one-on-one work with me, you're welcome to visit www.jointheroyalwe.com. And you can schedule one-on-one time with me where we will work through your issues as you need to work through them. FaceTime is a really good way to do it. I really enjoy doing FaceTime. It's great to be able to see people and one-on-one and do that work that way. So that's all there for you. And we'll be back. Be blessed, everybody. And we'll see you. Oh, D asked some questions here. Kevin, tell us about your Saturday live stream. I liked it. Yeah, okay, D, thank you so much for being there. D, by the way, you are going to be a moderator since you liked it and since you're there. Anybody else who would like to be a moderator on Royal We Fellowship? Royal We Fellowship is a biblical approach to learning about the Bible, the ancient literature. Okay, listen, Royal We Fellowship is not going to be modern westernized preaching. That's not what I want to do with it. It's going to be a ancient literature look, biblical look at what the ancient literature says about this world that we live in, about narcissism, about narcissistic abuse, about some of the issues that we fail to see because modern Western Christianity has focused so much on this idea and concept of love that it's just crushed people, right? And put this heavy burden on people that we're not supposed to have. So we're going against that. Not against it like, but you know what I mean. We're taking a different approach on Royal We Fellowship. So I encourage you, even if you, like me, have an issue with church, have an issue with modern Christianity, have no interest, and are hurt by it, I want you to know, if that's you and you're listening right now, I want you to know that that's where I've been. All right. And so Royal We Fellowship is coming from that place. So if that's the reason you don't want to attend or have anything to do with the Bible or anything like that, then let it be known right now that I'm coming from that place with you. All right. Yeah, I agree, D. Modern Western Christianity has failed. It's failed me. It's failed all of us. It's created a really whacked Western belief system. And right now, modern Christianity is left for the narcissists. How many of you, raise your hands, how many of you have been hurt and damaged by a narcissist in the church? How many of you have not been helped out or have been led the wrong way by narcissists in church? How many of you have been cussed at and called names by narcissists in church? How many? Okay, so this is the thing, right? And what we have to understand is it has nothing to do with the faith itself or what the Bible says. It has everything to do with the way in which churches have grown themselves and what church, the physical walls and the pastors, what they're all about. So we're not about that. We're doing it completely differently. And so I invite you to join us Saturday morning, Royal We Fellowship, 9 a.m. And that's what you can expect to see next. All right. Have a great night. Blessings, everybody. And for Tanya, I go, doot, 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 doot. I won't stop now. Boop, 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 boop. I won't quit. Tanya's not even on here anymore. All righty. Good night, everybody. Love you all. Blessings.